looking to do the same thing. From the 22 on first down. Tagovailoa throws, and the catch is made for a first down by Jakeem Grant. On 3rd and goal to the end zone, touchdown. There is a flag. Catch made by Devontae Parker.
2 of his top 3 corners are out today, and that's why you're seeing more of Kevin Peterson so far. Tua with the play fake, on the move, fires, and he's got another first down. Second catch for Mike Gesicki. 1st and 10 for Miami. Tua looking at a deep shot for Williams. He's got it. Nobody touched him. He can get up, and now he's taken down. Now there is a flag down back at the Miami 45-yard line. Here is Tua stepping up, throwing on the run, and completes it to Devontae Parker. And Parker tackled at the 45 by Simmons. A gain of 16 for Devontae Parker. Play clock at 3. Tua on 3rd and 9. Fires, and Parker goes back to make the catch. And that will quiet the crowd. A first down play for Devontae Parker. He picks up 14. They've been shuffling that line a little bit today. 3rd and 4. Pressure coming. Tua steps up. He can run for the first. And he puts a move on Budda Baker and gets the first down. That brings the ball out towards midfield. 1st down and 10. Tua wants more in the air. Fires a dart over the middle, and Devontae Parker with the catch. A flag is down at the in the secondary. Tua is 5 for 5 on this drive. Spins the wrong way, stays on his feet, sneaks through. Tua down the middle and down to the 10. How did he find a hole there? A 17-yard run. Looking end zone, he's got a man. Gesicki is in for the touchdown. What a drive by Tua and the Dolphins. Still tied at 31 with 5:15 to play. On 1st down, Tua Tagovailoa has time, throws, and it is caught. That is Mike Gesicki reeling it in front of Devondre Campbell for a gain of 19.
Very comfortable under center last week in the win over the Cardinals.
On 2nd and 8, rolling, pulls it down, now throws, and he hit his man. The catch was made by the tight end, Mike Gesicki, and that's a first down. Tua looks right, throwing, got his man in the end zone for the touchdown. Jakeem Grant on the receiving end. Low snap, Tua picks it up, throws it down the sideline, and the catch is made. Inside the 35-yard line by Devontae Parker.
Some of the onus back on this young quarterback in this Miami offense.
Tua over the middle, and that is right on the money across the 40. Mike Gesicki. Tua going to throw that one. Oh, what a pass. Inside the 20-yard line, complete to Adam Shaheen for a first down.
He feels comfortable with, and that is so important as a play caller.
Solomon Kindley in the backfield. And Tua throwing the other way to a wide-open Durham Smythe for the touchdown.
His 17th consecutive game, 1st and goal. Tagovailoa to the end zone. And Devontae Parker, touchdown! Got it! What a catch, working on the veteran A.J. Boye. Tua tosses the touchdown of 3.
Meanwhile, that last penalty was on Robert Hunt for a false start. As Tua over the middle, and he's got his man. That is Mike Gesicki for a Miami first down.
2 big, good-looking tight ends right there.
Tua escapes on the run, throws. He's got a wide-open Gaskin at the 20, inside the 10, and it's 1st and goal, Miami. Great job by Tua to buy some time. Tua looking for Gesicki. He's got him for the touchdown. And what a drive out of the locker room by Miami. Tua goes 5 for 6 on the drive, and Miami takes the lead. So far this half, Tua is 8 out of 10 for 117 yards. Looking for more over the middle, and what a catch! Gesicki with one hand!
He likes tight ends in this position often. Here he flings it to Gesicki, the tight end, and it's a touchdown. Winning 5 of its last 9 after an 0-7 start. Tua's pass complete. That's Bowden. It's just such a gift to watch every year.
Yes, it is.
Tua's pass. Well done, boxing out. Breland, that's Hollins with the catch. They've thrown it every down on this series. Tua toward the end zone. What a catch! Took it away from Thornhill. Gesicki has another one.
You're trying to fake this for so long, and then you're turning and you're trusting that it's 100% open, and you got to let it go right away.
He keeps it. Tua still waiting for a signal. Nothing yet. Well, touchdown. Seedings and position and even entrance into the postseason. Pass caught. And that gives Tagovailoa a 300-yard performance, 317.
Looking from the gun on 4th down. Tagovailoa steps, throws, and a first down. Catch made. Patrick Laird. 14th play of the drive. Dolphins trying to cash in. Tagovailoa steps up, cuts, and scores. The run from Tua Tagovailoa for the touchdown. Quick toss, shovel, and they've got it. Ford to Ahmed.
But I come right back with Ahmed.
It's going to be Tua bulldozing.
The man pilot, I think it's a touchdown.
It is. Touchdown, Dolphins. Tua, 14 to 21, 120. Tagovailoa flowers the block and downfield they go. Oh, what a catch by Parker. Second down and 10. Moving up, a lot of debris. There he goes, and he's got room to roam. And he hits the deck before he's whacked by Neal. 16-yard run by Tagovailoa. Big-time run. First down, Miami. Ahmed back there. Tagovailoa down. Caught by Parker with a twisting catch. Corkscrews it at the 22.
The comeback win a week ago against the Raiders that things have unfolded the way they have today.
Third down and 10. And Tua goes deep and held on to by Gesicki. Big hit by Marlowe. They get the ball down to the 16 on a 23-yard completion. Second down 10. Downfield they go. Nice catch is made. Ford.
Then this is indeed where Miami would come back to.
Cleveland is in for the first time in forever. Here they go deep. Caught for a touchdown. Grabbed by Perry. First of his career. Tua on the screws. A 25-yard touchdown pass by Tagovailoa.
Impressed a lot of people around the league, and he's picking up right where he left off.
Second down 1. The fake, and here comes the easy rock into the end zone. Tagovailoa. A 3-yard touchdown run. And Miami scores on their first possession. For the Miami Dolphins, 3 consecutive punts forced by the New England D. Tua, 1st and 10, going deep, and what a catch is made by Waddle! Bounces back up and takes it downfield and hit by Jalen Mills. 6 in the secondary. Tagovailoa moves up and goes deep, and he's going for Parker. Oh, he's got the ball. Did he get his feet in? Yes, he did! At the 43, right in front of Jackson. A 30-yard strike and a Miami 1st down. 1st and goal at the 3. Tua back in. 9th play of the drive. On the move is Waddle. Tua. Waddle to the pylon. Touchdown! And the Dolphins have gone on top. Waddle, and he's got the touchdown. A great strike by Tagovailoa. It's a 6-yard touchdown throw, and the Dolphins score on their 1st possession. 2nd possession, 19-yard line, 1st and 10. Fake to Gaskin. They get around Davis, and he goes deep, and he's got Gesicki hurdling a defender and over the 40 and out to the Miami 41. Tagovailoa has concocted here with Gaskin in and looks at 6 in the secondary. 4th and 2, and slings the ball, and it's caught at the 10-yard line and grabbed right there by Mac Hollins. With no timeouts, 2nd down and 10. And here he goes, this downfield once again, and caught in the middle and grabbed on the play by the receiver, Mac Hollins, who gets another reception, his 4th of the day in London. On downs, good defense by Miami, and Tua goes deep, wide open. Gesicki galloping up the side, igniting the play with a beautiful throw by Tua Tagovailoa. 1st and 10. Looks into the nickel. Block over there by Davis again, and they got Smythe with the acrobatic catch at the 5. It's 1st and goal, drilled down low.
Savon Ahmed fake to him in the backfield, and Tua is he's got room to run. He puts a nice move on, and near a 1st down at the 35 as he falls down.
Boy, what a great example of 3 of them right there.
Yeah, and when you're in your 3rd season, 3rd year of the program, Tua for the tight end, leaping into the air. Durham Smythe came down with it. Open midfield. Down to the 45, Gesicki.
You look at him and you can see certain components of the game that he's getting better at.
Pressure coming, sideline throw. He let it go early. He stayed in bounds. Jalen Waddle ruled a catch. Well, here they need 6 for the 1st down. Tua backpedaling. He can run for it. Wide open is that side. He can't slide yet, but he's hit hard. Spins out of it, gets the 1st down. Tua was twirling, but he made it happen.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that after this snap.
Call me later. All right. Don't have to worry about it, or do you? Gesicki falling inside the 10.
Was hoping that the Sky Judge would take a look. They don't. It's 3rd down. Tua taking a shot down the sideline. Devontae Parker goes up to make the catch. A 21-yard pickup. Fourth down. Tagovailoa. Helmet comes flying off. Tua looking deep for Gesicki. He's got it. Mike Gesicki inside the 5. Chaos back at the line of scrimmage. Tua trying to do it himself again. Extra push. Now is a signal. It's a touchdown. We said the Dolphins needed to answer, and they do in a big way. A lot of teams are starting to do this now. Down by 14. Score a touchdown and go for 2. Tua, and he's got his man. It's Gesicki.
From the 40. Tua protected downfield. There's the rookie, Waddle. Tua throws wide open. Albert Wilson. And wrestled down at the 10. I'd like to see him hand it to him. Tua takes it, and no signal yet. Touchdown! Touchdown, Miami! Tua eluding the pressure and going deep down the sideline. He has a man open and he's got it. 10-5 and pushed out of bounds is Mac Hollins. No, he's ruled a touchdown. He did not go out of bounds. For Tua and the Dolphins. And shuffling the ball back and forth. Tua eventually to the sideline, and that is complete to Durham Smythe, the tight end.
Third in the NFL with 30 sacks coming into this game. On a 3rd and 11, an opportunity. Time for Tua, and threads the needle. That's Waddle down the middle inside the 30 of Carolina, and a Dolphin first down. 3rd and goal. Tua fires in the end zone. Catch at the goal line. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. What a throw from Tua Tagovailoa. And Waddle held on. I know Dolphin fans want to see him throw down the field more. If he has time, fires one there. That's right on target to Jalen Waddle. And he is zooming inside the 15 of the Panthers. 21st pass attempt, floating it in the area. He turns around and Parker has it. Kept his feet in and goes out of bounds with the catch. End zone throw open. Gesicki juggling grab. Did he hang on for the touchdown? Make that Mac Hollins. He did hold on, and Hollins has a Dolphin touchdown.
You know, can they get on a really good run here at the end of the year?
Tua to throw. Down the middle, it's Waddle leaping inside the 35 of the Giants. Boy, a healthy Tua and getting the ball to Waddle. That's Gaskin in motion. Tua has it. He's looking. He's throwing. The catch. Is he in? Yes! It's a Dolphin touchdown! On 3rd and 6, another opportunity to bring extra pressure. Tua floats one for the sideline, but Devontae Parker reaching back. He kept his feet in as he made the adjustment to haul in the ball.
Miami. Tua gonna crank it up down the sideline. It is caught by Devontae Parker.
He holds the ball. Generally, it's been a pretty good result for their defense.
Here's a 3rd and 6. Tua going to throw it other side of the field, and it is caught across midfield. 1st and goal.
Fullback, little Christian Wilkins in at fullback.
Tua throwing, touchdown. Christian Wilkins, penalty flag is down.
Really nicely played at the point of the catch.
On 3rd and 9. Quick slant. Parker. Touchdown.
Gaskin in the backfield, Waddle in the slot. Tagovailoa gets out of there and throws, and it's caught. Durham Smythe, nice grab. Clock continues to wind. Pick up a 14, needed 15. Saints rushing 5. Tagovailoa loading up, and it is caught. Wow. Mac Hollins, welcome to the game. 8.5 to go in the 3rd. Little flea flicker. Back to Tagovailoa. Coming across is Jalen Waddle. His 8th catch of the night. Davenport coming at him. Tagovailoa gets out of there, throws on the run, and completes to Gesicki. He's been quiet for a while. 3rd catch of the night, goes for 12.
Ford, the receiver on the move. Good time. Good throw. Right down the middle. Devontae Parker got it in a nest of defenders. 1st and 10. Fake to Johnson, who offers a block and going deep, and he's looking for Waddle. He got him inside the 30. Big time completion.
13th play of the drive that began at their own 23. Tua, beautiful fake, back in the end zone. It is caught. Waddle, touchdown. So, Godsey, center your picture. What does he dial up here on 3rd and 6? Tagovailoa steps up, pocket starts to muddy. He's going to run for it. First down and more. Tua still going. Showing off the wheels inside New England territory.
The fake to Edmonds. Tua throwing this side of the field, wide open at the 25-yard line. The pass is caught by Tyreek Hill. 1st and 15 for Miami. That pass down the side, it is grabbed by Tyreek Hill. How did he get his hands on the ball? The Dolphins are going to run a play here.
Yeah, I don't know if I really love this decision.
Over the middle, got his man, and look at him go! Jalen Waddle for the touchdown!
There you go, baby.
Tagovailoa, Armstead a block, and he's got the receiver. Buckle up, hold on to your hands. Here comes Waddle. What a block downfield by Ingold. Woo! Wow, is he flying all the way to the 35.
So it cut Waddle's route short as a big 3rd down here.
3rd and 13, and to the end zone. Gesicki, touchdown! What a catch! Woo! 14-yard snare. Mostert, Waddle atop your screen. Tagovailoa. Here they come with Washington. There he goes. Owe chasing. Touchdown, Craycraft. 2-yard throw. Tagovailoa with his 3rd touchdown pass today. 16 times. He's caught 9. 3rd and 10. Tua going deep. Oh, he's got Hill. He's got Hill. That is 6. Tagovailoa, blocked by Armstead. Going, he's got him! He's got him! Tyreek Hill! And the Dolphins have come back! 60 yards! Tagovailoa, blocked by Armstead. Tua to the end zone. Caught for the touchdown! Caught for the touchdown! Waddle! Miami has taken the lead. Tagovailoa, blocked by Armstead, to the end zone, caught for the touchdown. A 2nd consecutive week. River Craycraft off the practice squad, and a laser thrown by Tua. Tagovailoa, they bring pressure. He got away from Russo, and a diving catch by Waddle right underneath Hamlin. And the ball to the 28, gain of 8. And Tua, oh, he's woozy. He's hit 7 consecutive passes before he had to leave. That's Tyreek Hill. Blocked by Ingold, downfield, there's Hill. To the 46. And brought down by Damar Hamlin. Taken over at their own 28. It's 1st and 10 with the high snap. Blocked by Smythe. Going deep. He's got him. Waddle. Brought out of bounds by Jamarcus Ingram. 3rd and 22. They need the 30. Time. Deep. Oh, he's got Waddle. Inside the 10. To the 7. 45 yards.
Hill taken out of the game last week by the Jets. Picked up only 2 catches, and meanwhile they go to Jalen Waddle. And what a 1-2 combination this is. When you've got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, you have a ton. 2nd down and 13 at the 10-yard line. Hangs in the pocket, passes right there. That is Gesicki, the tight end, making the catch. Yeah, that was so tough. He sent him to Alabama instead of USC, where Tua wanted to go.
That's right.
2nd and 11. That pass over the middle. There is Hill.
2nd and 5, fake to Mostert, throw over the top, and there's Waddle on the run to the 35-yard line. Gain of 25. The 41, Tagovailoa, 5 options downfield, goes middle. Waddle's open to the 24-yard line. Target 3, catch 3 for Jalen Waddle. It's now 3rd down and 6. Steelers bring 5. Tua with a shot. Tyreek Hill brings it in. Inside the 30-yard line, 1st down, and McDaniel will take his final timeout.
Stretch play that they're running really effectively here tonight.
They've done this a lot. Jump the ball quick on 3rd down. To it. Throws in the middle, complete. Waddle for the 1st down. Into the Steelers' secondary in the 40-yard line. Pickup of 25 yards to Waddle.
Looks like man-to-man coverage with a 2-deep shell.
Tua passes and completes it to Waddle for a 1st down. Dolphins trying to get something going here in the 1st quarter. Tua to the air on 1st down. Deep down the field for Tyreek Hill. He's got him at the 41 and cut from behind at the 45 by Will Harris. Break the huddle quickly. Quick snap. Tua surveying the scene to the end zone. Touchdown! And it's Jalen Waddle. And you know what we're going to get now? Oh, yeah. Waddle with his 4th touchdown of the season. 1st down and 10. Tua was looking deep. Steps up. Now he's going to fire it down the field for Tyreek Hill. Underthrown again, but Hill makes the catch. Tyreek Hill continues to blaze his way down the field. This one goes for 43. 3rd and 6. Tua looking deep. He's got a man. Touchdown! Number 2 for Waddle. And here comes the Waddle. You can hear him say that, Aditi. That makes a lot of sense. Throwing on 1st down. Tua on the move. Has Gesicki out to the 45-yard line. A gain of 20 for the Dolphins tight end. 3rd and 6. Tua pump fakes wide open to run, and he will do that. Tua off to the races. And a 1st down pickup. 18 yards for Tagovailoa. Tua to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Gesicki. What a drive by Miami. Their 3rd red zone touchdown of the day. Tua's throwing on 1st down. It's deflected and caught by Hill. How do you like that?
Here they have the tight end in the slot. 2nd down and 8. Shell the block at the right tackle. Low and caught. Grabbed by Waddle. Tight end is Smythe. 3rd and 6. On nickel secondary for the Chicago Bears. Tagovailoa. Right down the middle where he finds great success, and that is caught on the play by Sherfield.
And then the way he's returned, you have to remember that severe concussion a couple of weeks ago.
2nd down 9, and in that gap, there they hit Waddle, and he's brought down by Jackson. Jeff Wilson, the running back. Tagovailoa has it to the end zone. Touchdown. Tyreek Hill. We just told you he's only been targeted once in the red zone all year. He just caught one right there on a 3-yard touchdown reception. Flip it, baby. 3rd down and 6. Shell the block and go. Oh, he's got him. It's Hill. He's going to fly down the sideline and inside the 20. Gesicki, the tight end. Sherfield on the move. 3rd and 15. They got the block from Hunt. Tua slips as he throws, but he got the ball away to Waddle, who cradles it at about the 11. The 2nd down and 3 in the 1st possession of the 2nd half. Fake to Wilson. Tagovailoa, and caught for the touchdown, Waddle. 2nd touchdown pass by Tagovailoa. 18 yards and Waddle. And there he goes with the dance, and there he goes with his 6th touchdown reception of the year. 2nd down 9, Tagovailoa. On a cross, he's got Hill. And brought down by Eddie Jackson. A starting position for Miami after the punt, 1st and 10. Tagovailoa Downfield. He's got Hill. Cracked at the 40.
Picks up a big first down.
Tua with time. Over the middle. Got his man. Trent Sherfield on the receiving end. That's into Cleveland territory and another Miami first down. Tua got rid of it down the sideline. It is caught by Tyreek Hill. There is a flag down on the play. So coming up on 1 minute to play. Sideline complete and out of bounds to Mike Gesicki. Tua, end zone, caught. Trent Sherfield, touchdown.
He's made a lot of plays, but this has to be your moment for this defensive front to help you get back in the game.
Under pressure, he steps forward, hits his man over the middle. Jalen Waddle with the catch, and that's a Miami first down.
They like to move around quite a bit.
Tua under pressure, throwing, touchdown, Tyreek Hill.
So Tua take a mental snapshot of the defense. Here he is on 3rd and 7. Over the middle, completes. Waddle looking for more. Inside the 20. What a pass, what a catch.
He's going to sweat off about 10 pounds a day. Maybe I should try that.
Tagovailoa begins just outside the 40. First down, back to the airways. Tua wide open is his man. It's Trent Sherfield.
They struggle stopping the run. They gave up 179 yards a game on the ground.
Tagovailoa looking, now giving chase. Here comes Houston. Tua to the end zone. Touchdown. Durham Smythe. Just masterful from Tagovailoa. Hill and Waddle already 7 catches between them. Over 100 yards. Play action. Tagovailoa, another fake. Up the seam. Jump ball. And it is caught. Waddle with a snatch. And Jay, you add Wilson into the mix, really the only weak spot running back to what they already have. Just incredible. Tagovailoa steps up in the face of pressure, delivers a strike. Another first down. Beautifully done to Cedric Wilson. Tagovailoa on 3rd and 5. Sidesteps the potential sack and finds his man for the first down. It's Tyreek Hill.
This explosive offense gets things going with a quick throw down the seam, and it's Trent Sherfield. A big play on the first one. Home run. Play 1 to the house. What a start for the Dolphins. 2nd and 10. A look to throw it again. First read taken away. This one he threads through there on a dime for Durham Smythe. That's a little more like what Tua's looked like for a lot of this year. First down and 10 to the 19-yard line. Dolphins offense so good this season, struggling to get going today. Tua looking up top, finds a window for River Craycraft. Second half begins with him under pressure. He evaded Ebukam, floats to the sideline, and he's got Tyreek Hill. First down and 15 as the 4th begins. He's given time, steps into the throw, and he's got a first down. Tyreek Hill across midfield. Empty it out on 1st and 10. Again, well protected. Here's a deep ball. Wants Hill. Perfectly dropped in. Touchdown, Dolphins. In the blink of an eye, they find it and strike from 45 yards. And it's a 1-score game early in the 4th.
Coming into tonight. 3rd and 5. Shortest distance on the 3rd down. They try to go the distance, and they will. Sheeta, cheat code again. Tyreek touchdown. 60 yards. Tua looking deep, covered, going to take off for the 2nd time, and he's able to run and slide down after a gain of 18 yards into Chargers territory at the 48-yard line.
3rd and 5. Tua looking deep. Waddle is there. He's got it. And Miami down to the 35 of Buffalo. Jalen Waddle on the receiving end. On third down, with time, over the middle, wide open at the 40-yard line is Jalen Waddle, and he turns on the speed, leaving the Bills in the dust.
Whoa.
Tua looking for the end zone, got a man open, it's Tyreek Hill for the touchdown! And for the first time tonight, Miami takes the lead.
Tagovailoa under pressure, found a hole for Jalen Waddle, got a block and got free. Waddle with the speed, takes it inside the 30, keeps on going, all the way home. Touchdown Miami. 84-yard lightning strike. Dolphins back in front. 5-year deal. He's played through a host of injuries. Here's Mike Gesicki breaking loose. And Mike Gesicki has a first down to the 48. He popped to his feet thinking that he wasn't touched, but they ruled that he was.
What do they really want from their tight ends, and just kind of think about what you see from San Francisco at that tight end spot.
Tagovailoa loads up and wants Tyreek Hill. He's got him. First and goal. They connect again. Still trying to get that ground game going today. 2nd and 3. They fake the run. Tagovailoa looks back across the field, steps into a toss that Waddle climbs the ladder to retrieve. Against Adrian Amos, Jalen Waddle having a big day. 16 yards right there. Speed to run by you, but then they fill up the middle of the field when you're bailing out trying to cover the speed. Middle of the field throw here. Right on a dime. Tyreek Hill, first catch of the second half, goes for 19 and a Miami first down.
Tua in the backfield, Mostert to his side. It is a 1st and 10, and Tagovailoa 4 of 6 through the air. Nice block by Hunt. He's got Tyreek Hill, and hold on to your Hex. Down to the 47. Brought down by Neiman. Smythe in motion. Fake to Mostert. Blocked by Lamb. And he's got his receiver again. Hill riding him down. Michael Davis. 2nd and 9. Hill on the move. Blocked by Lamb. Tagovailoa chased by Bosa and gets the ball off, and Smythe again at the 45 and a first down. In goal, the fullback, 1st and goal. Blocked right there. Mostert to the end zone. Caught! Craycraft! Touchdown! Miami! They've got the lead. Hill's not even in now. 1st down and 10. Fake to Mostert. Blocked by Smythe. Down the near side. Caught! Waddle right in front of Davis.
Josh Boyer.
Yep. So that was a interesting call. And look at what the poor punt with the best beginning field position, 35 of LA. He's got Hill. That's a touchdown! The sack sets it up. The defense held. The electrifying Hill finishes it off for Tua Tagovailoa. Guard to center and Tua. They lose 5. We're back to 3rd and 15. Here they go. Here they come. And on the move, Tagovailoa throws. It's caught by Berrios in front of Davis. He got the ball. What a catch at the 36.
They would go for it here on 4th down, but let's see how this third down unfolds.
Tagovailoa, Hunt the block. Tua on the move, going deep, speed race. He's got Hill! He's got Hill! He beat James! What a play! Wazakoma is in the backfield. And they go to the end zone and caught! Hill! Touchdown! Touchdown! The Dolphins have recaptured the lead!
Knock back the lineman of the Dolphins really hasn't come into play.
Out quick, River Craycraft across the middle of the 40-yard line with a catch for the first down. We'll mark it at the 39. Pick up 21. There he goes in motion, turn it up. Tua, pressure, gets rid of it to Berrios, who brought it in at the 2. Traffic there with Hill and Berrios, but Braxton Berrios, the former Patriot draft pick, sets up first and goal.
A lot of picks will be forthcoming here.
Out of timeouts, clock starts. Tua looks, throws, touchdown Tyreek Hill. No deep balls for Hill, but he gets free. A beautiful 2-minute drive. Dolphins empty it out. A-Chain and Ingold are the two backs who are in. And Tua throwing sideline for Waddle, who goes up and pulls it in at the 30-yard line.
Secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic Hill. He's in for 6.
Be careful with Washington. They came back from 18 down to beat this Denver team.
2nd and 16. Open again is Hill, who will dance his way, rocketing downfield. Has the first down, 37-yard line. With a 2nd down and goal. Oh, look at that. Shovel pass. A-Chain breaks a tackle and dives for 6.
Great response by the Dolphins defense, pushing them out of field goal range. Of course, the penalties, but a couple of big defensive plays.
Fake to Mostert, 1st and 10. Here they go with Hill. Turner Yell got him, but they couldn't bring him down. He's so elusive. It's a foot race. And he got by Surtain. He gets a block downfield from Berrios. The electrifying Hill. Tommy Novus may have played in that game for the Falcons. I don't know. 2nd down, 14. Fake to Mostert. And a block by Wynn, and downfield it goes. Caught by Hill. 15-yard line.
You can see when the quarterback is about to throw somewhere, Jim, and he pulls it back, it means the defense made it look muddy.
1st and 10. Bernard really had a play on it, like I said. Here he goes down the field. He's got another connection. There's Tyreek. Out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Tyreek Hill. Tua looking down the field. Now flings it. Who else? He's got Tyreek open for a good gain. Another big chunk play for the Dolphins. That was the first game this season so far with no incompletions in the first quarter by the two quarterbacks. As Tua starts the second quarter with another complete. What a catch. Mostert jumps up with two defenders around him.
You got the middle of the field if you want it here.
Looking outside, going end zone, wide open. Berrios brings it in for the touchdown. His first of the season.
What an incredible play design, but this was all Tua with his eyes.
And now here's Tua finding Tyreek to about the 44-yard line.
Russo, I mean, this is a deep front.
There's a pass to an open Ingold. And the fullback showing some skill right there with that over-the-shoulder catch.
This is crazy.
2nd and goal, 2-yard line. Tagovailoa rolling to his left, throws, end zone, touchdown! Jalen Waddle. It certainly is. 1st down at 15 following the penalty. Tua swings it out. Speaking of fast, how about Tyreek Hill? Hill inside the 20 and then finally chased down. Wow. Consecutive plays. You had the interception return for a touchdown in the middle. Now going deep to the far side. Caught. It's Hill. Touchdown. 69 yards.
Tua 3 of 3. Hill on the move. It's Hill. Makes one miss. He's by midfield. Ingold. Here they come. There he goes. Tua. Caught. Touchdown. Waddle. He beats Franklin. 4-yard touchdown pass with C.J. Henderson closing in on Tagovailoa. 3rd and 10. Ahmed back there. Smythe the block. Here he's got him. Waddle in a thicket of defenders. 2-minute warning. Each team 3 timeouts. Ahmed the back. Tua 3rd and 6. He's 12 of 16. Lamb the block. Go! He's got him! He's got Hill! And they've got a touchdown! Oh, he smoked him! Woo!
You have to give him credit and his crew. I mean, this offense comes in over 500 yards a game in offense and just over 200 in the first half.
Ahmed the back, Lamb the block, the throw, it's caught by Hill. Look at him, he's slippery, rocketing his way, slaloming out of bounds, and he slows up, pulls up like a...
I think he's cramping up.
I think he is too. Ahmed is in the backfield. Ingold on the move. Nice block there by Hunt. Time for Tua. Here he comes. Hill.
Throughout this year.
7, Tua for his first toss of the night. With time, throws into an open window, and there he goes for the first time tonight. Tyreek Hill is in at left guard, another Alabama product. One of 12 in the game tonight. 3rd and 9. The Eagles bring 4. Tua lofts it, and it's brought in at the 6-yard line. Jalen Waddle goes up to get it. Ruled a catch. It's 1st and goal for Miami.
They needed to see something like this.
From the 20. Tua protected, firing deep downfield, and it is... Oh, what a second foot down by Wilson. Cedric Wilson got the second foot down just over midfield. Tua fires left side for the end zone. Tyreek Hill touchdown. The timing of Tua and Tyreek do it again, and Miami gets back in it at 17-9. Before his long pass downfield, he was injured on a run. Tua will throw, and it's complete to Hill once again. Tyreek to the 47-yard line. Cedric Wilson had the big catch earlier. He's in motion. Tua on the run, throw to Wilson. Back shoulder. Cool design for the back shoulder throw.
Hill in motion. Tua slinging it near side. It's caught. Jalen Waddle. First down, Miami. With the Dolphins taking the first back in week 2 in Sunday Night Football. Tua slinging it over the middle, completes. That's his tight end, Durham Smythe.
That have had to grind and prove themselves.
Some more misdirection. Tua slinging it to the end zone. It's caught. Tyreek Hill. Dolphins are going to roll the dice. Here they come. Tua's going to run for it. First down, Miami. Quick, decisive decision-making from Tagovailoa. Miami, by the way, #1 red zone touchdown percentage in the NFL. Trying to punch it in here. Second down pass. Tua, Cedric Wilson. Touchdown. Boy, you give them so many chances, they're going to make you pay.
You know, he has the release to be able to deal with this on the offensive line.
That's Mostert in motion, 2nd and 14. What a pass! Waddle, leaping catch.
Replace and take some pressure off of his offensive line, or if he tries to run the football.
Tagovailoa up the seam. That's where they like to go as Hill finds a little bit of daylight. First down and more, Miami. Season plus. Remember that ruptured patellar tendon last season, week 7. Here's Tua, steps up in the pocket, completes. Waddle atones for the drop. As they play from the 31-yard line. Tua fakes over the middle, wide open. Waddle's going to waltz in. 31 yards on the catch and run. As Miami tries to turn out the lights on New England.
Tua finds Waddle, and that's how the Dolphins start the game. Tua, quick throw over the middle, there's Hill. Drew Tranquil on the coverage. Tua turns, has it over the middle to Tyreek Hill, makes a move. And Tyreek Hill taken down by Tranquil before any more damage could be done. Gain of 19. They need points and fast. They can't really settle for anything but 7, it feels like. Tua for the end zone, and Wilson. A touchdown. No. Waddle on the move, Tua to the air. Nice looking catch, Hill in a thicket. Brought down by Hobbs. They're into Raider territory at the 38. Gain of 17. Wilson on the move. Tagovailoa. Nice catch. Here goes Hill. Kiss him goodbye. Touchdown, Tyreek Hill. What a throw. And then Hill rockets in for 6.
Antonio Pierce is preaching.
Raiders have 6 in the secondary. 3rd down and 8 for Tagovailoa. Throws caught again. There's Hill. Bouncing off bodies. What a move. Lickety split down to the 40. Yep, Tua to the air. Blocked by Croft. On the move and downfield and caught. Chosen. 45. Zeros on the clock. Plays of 20 yards or more in the NFL and back of the Lions. 2nd down 6. Blocked by Ahmed and a throw downfield, and who else? We're in Trent Green's number 10. It's Tyreek Hill.
Down the sideline. Guess who's out in front? And a saving tackle at the end of the play. And hopping away is Hill. He makes the grab. 3rd down and 6. Tua buys time, throws into traffic. That's Waddle. Makes the catch and gets taken down inside the 10-yard line by Mosley. Third down and 3, going deep, and it's going to be hauled in. The flag is down to Waddle making the catch.
Running back against a linebacker. Achane against Davis, top of the formation. Tua lofts it. Tyreek Hill on cue. You're not going to catch him, are you?
No.
Nope. Touchdown. Explosive Miami play for 78 and a score. Achane, Waddle, and Hill all on the same side. That's where Tua's looking. Tua's throwing, and Jalen Waddle's catching it in Washington territory. On 3rd and 4, they pick up 16. Terrell Burgess on the tackle. Here comes a blitz from Washington. Trying to get to Tua. One-on-one. Hill, he found it. He's gone. Another long touchdown for Tyreek. This one for 60 yards.
10 different offensive linemen have played in a game, and they've had all kinds of different combinations as well, Adam.
8 of them counting today. Tua Tagovailoa finds Tyreek Hill on 3rd down. He's been the safety blanket today. The 2 touchdowns and then that conversion. All 4 of Hill's catches have come on 3rd down, including the 2 scores. Tagovailoa steps away from the pressure, gives it to Jalen Waddle, and they pick up the 1st down. He dives inside the 5.
Devon Achane, the rookie from A&M, is in there. Tua looks over the middle, throws into traffic, and Jalen Waddle finds a window and holds on. Took a shot from Amani Hooker and is slow to get up. 2-by-2 look. Tua looking to the left, pumps, and now delivers a throw, and there he is. Want to know where Tyreek Hill is? He's diving and making a catch for a 1st down. Titans rush 4. Tua lofting downfield and making the play is Cedric Wilson. They call it a catch, and what a catch as Tua dropped it in over Murphy Bunting. Ingold in front of most of an I formation here. Play fake. Tua looking downfield and does find Tyreek Hill, who steps out in Tennessee territory. He's back. Tua scanning downfield, tries to fit it in beautifully. Tyreek Hill making 2 huge impact plays on this drive.
Are you kidding me?
After a 54-yard punt by Morstead, Dolphins begin at their own 40.
Going deep, right there.
What a perfect pass and play, and the touchdown to Jalen Waddle. 60 yards and a touchdown.
They can get a quick first down.
Do go for it. Here's the pass across the middle. They got it. It's Waddle running around in the secondary and bounces out after the big gain on 4th and 5 from the New York 45.
3rd and 8. 4-man rush. Tagovailoa loads up, going deep for Waddle. He's got it in stride. A bomb to Jalen Waddle.
They got two of the best in the league, and those two guys.
On 2nd down, Tagovailoa flushed out. Looking, throws on the run, and he's got a completion. First down, it's Cedric Wilson, the ex-Cowboy, coming down with it. First down on the fake. Tagovailoa loads up, delivers. It is caught for another first down. This time, Robbie Chosen has it inside the Dallas 40. Zachan in motion, fake to him. Tagovailoa, there's Tyreek Hill. Good catch in the spin, and he's down to the Dallas 40. A lot of motion on the fake. Tagovailoa, there is Hill in stride for a first down. So you saw the conversation. I think Mike McDaniel said, you know what, I'm going to throw it to you right here. Tagovailoa, a lot of time, airs it out. Tyreek Hill comes back to get it, and he's waking up here in this second half.
Shotgun. Tagovailoa looking, rifles, touchdown, caught by Wilson. Miami strikes first in a big way on the road. 10-7 over the Ravens. Dolphins facing a 3rd and 5. Tagovailoa hits his man Smythe, the tight end. Second quarter. Tagovailoa dials it up, hits his man Smythe with the catch. First down at midfield, good for 16 yards. Could have attempted a 63-yard field goal. Tagovailoa. High archer, over the shoulder grab, Tyreek Hill. First down, Dolphins. Tagovailoa, 202 yards through the air, a touchdown, 2 picks. Open man, Cedric Wilson Jr.
Incompleto. En 4ª y 4, el pase Tagovailoa consigue el primer de 10 Miami. Buena jugada por el lado izquierdo en la recepción.
3rd and goal. Shotgun. Tagovailoa. Lofts. Upstairs for the touchdown, Achane.
At least, and other guys are stepping up to make plays in the passing game. You can't get it to him.
With the fake now, throws to that open space. There's Tyreek Hill. Taken off, the cheetah pulled down right around the 42-yard line. Gain of almost 20 yards on their connection. Jeff Wilkes in the back, 3rd and 14. Bills bring 4. Tua fires, high but brought in. Across midfield by Tyreek Hill. Catch 3 on the night. 3rd and 3 for Miami. And Tagovailoa. Tua fires the flag down. Cedric Wilson's got it. He's inside the 15-yard line. Second and 1. Tua fakes it, takes the shot downfield for Hill. Got to come back. Tyreek got it inside the 10. Keeps running to the end zone. Touchdown, Tyreek. A flag comes down late, the contact as the ball was in the air. But Tyreek Hill, quiet in the first quarter. 2 plays and to the end zone. Go out of the gun here. Tagovailoa will fake it to Mostert and take a shot towards Waddle, who's got it around midfield. And with Miami having 2 timeouts, polar vortex is freezing the Midwest. 3rd down, Tua toss. Waddle got it. Is that Waddle? No, check it. It's Wilson.
After snapping the ball with 3 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Amen. 2nd and 13. Tua going to step up, take off again, run towards that sideline, get a first down out around the 25-yard line.
And coming into this, it kind of reminded me of the same thing. Can they handle these conditions? Will they be a different team? certainly they haven't been as good as they've been all year long.
Beautiful throw on 4th down there.